And we are live! And man, I've forgotten the process for doing these from the PS4. Can you believe we used to do this every week?
Ugh.
Ugh. Just the show. Ugh.
Ugh, God.
Hello!
How Philistine of us.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dolls on Biscuits.
Hello.
That's usually
Hello.
John's bit, but I'm going to say it today.
Yeah.
Hello! Hello!
Hello.
I'm rap sensation Snow.
Hello. I'm Johnny Cab.
Yeah. And you're looking here at the title screen of Star Wars Battlefront. Not Star Wars Battlefront 2, but the original Star Wars Battlefront, because I had this installed the other day to show a friend the VR mission. So I just had it installed, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go for this. I should actually have the oh, I've just downloaded all the DLC, and none of it's on here because the game was already started, which is annoying. Oh, maybe I can do this. I'll get some. I like those Scarif missions. Alright, we'll go back later. I played these too much. We used to play this quite a lot, but we are not playing it together today.
Nope.
Well, yeah, we did.
Not today.
Did you say no, we didn't?
No, I said no, we're not. Like, as in we're not playing it together right now.
Oh, okay.
Settle down.
Do you know you can play Walker Assault and split screen offline now?
Oh,
Or like
that's cool.
well, let's do it. Alright, 40 play modes. Oh, I'll do some 12 play modes to get in here. Yeah, I figured for kind of this kind of stream, something that'd be nice, chill, and relaxed and fun would be maybe, you know, just a little bit of Battlefront, you know? A little bit of Battlefront. And he has volunteered kindly to lead the assault on the rebel base. How is everybody? Welcome. I have no idea what's going on in the chat because I haven't actually got through there yet. I'm trying to load a. I'm going to load the thumbnail in.
I need to bring the chat up myself.
Yeah. Hello to Sinister Minister and hello to Tiny Red Secret who says, this has been a while. I take no blame for that. That's not nothing to do with me. John with his life outside of me.
I admit I take full responsibility. But yeah, Owen's over there playing Star Wars. I'm actually playing Nier Automata, or Automata, or however
Nier
you
Tomato,
pronounce it.
yeah.
Nier Tomato, yeah.
I'm just posting over to the Discord
And
server and then.
It's weird. I'm on my second playthrough of this, so.
Oh, you made it to the end of a game.
Fuck you.
What?
You know, I can't even really, like, push back against that, because I was even thinking to myself, when I start streaming more regularly, I think I'm going to dedicate a day to finishing games. like finish it Friday or something like that.
Finish it! Alright, press to join, I will join. I have no ranking or anything on this right now because I'm on the other username, so I've got like no guns, no star cards, nothing. But all the DLC. I tried playing this earlier and I was terrible at it. I got quite good at this one, but then I wasn't good at Battlefront 2 at all. Oh, there we go, I got a kill. Top player killed and a headshot on my first kill, that's not bad.
I definitely felt like in Battlefront 2 it did feel different.
Well, you had all the different classes and things, so they'd shifted things up a bit. Tiny Bit Secret says, so you're not playing the same game. That won't be confusing. Is that sarcasm?
What do you really mean? Shit, that's hard.
Yeah, you didn't finish that sentence, so now you just said to Tiny Bit Secret, what are you really?
What are you?
Really?
Really?
Finish it!
What are you? No.
So So it's chilly here at the moment. So I've been streaming from the bump the mic. I've been streaming from the safety of a little blanket, my little Disney Baymax fleece blanket, you know, which is adorable. And then I was sat down here earlier waiting for pizza to arrive, and it came really suddenly. But I was all like tucked into my blanket and stuff. And I got up and started getting the pizza, and about halfway to the door, I realized I was about to answer the door in a little in a little Disney fleece blanket. So I went to like throw it off me, but I got the door at the same time. So the pizza man basically got to see me like tuxedo mask, you know, from
Right.
just like mid dramatic Baymax blanket throw, like anime frills and everything. It was great. And now I want to answer the door like that every time.
But you gotta be all like, you have to kind of be like Tuxedo Mask too. Like, I believe there's someone at the door.
Freeze! Get like a backdrop of stars flying behind me.
Right. Camera spinning around you, 360, your hand out for no fucking reason at all.
But I've also got to disappear before like paying the pizza man. Like someone else always has to pay. You know, like I'll take care of this, but then when it actually comes to it, I'm just gone. You know.
Stay back, sailors. I'll protect you. Can I borrow $15?
So you know what's really funny about this? When Battlefront 2 came out, I went back and I played this briefly, and and it was just dead. It was completely and totally dead, right? But today, more people are playing this than the last time I played Battlefront 2.
That's awesome.
Well, this is the better of the two games, significantly.
So, I just finished up maybe...
Tiny bit because I hope you were wearing clothes. Tuxedo mask!
Yeah. Cut to Tuxedo Mask being arrested. Yeah, this fucking pervert's been flashing these young women for 3 seasons.
You can always tell the creeps, named after their clothes. Lock him up with jeans, dirty dungarees.
Put him with floppy John Thomas. So I'm playing Nier over here, and I just finished one of the quest line that has a really funny ending, actually.
Oh,
so yeah, like, so the big deal about this game is like you play as an android, and you're locked in this like war against robots, right?
Right.
Really kind of confusing, but what you've discovered though is that the robots have basically become sentient, but not like in a Skynet sort of sentient way. They've become sentient and like pacifists.
Right.
So they like
bastards.
They become they've become sentient, and like their first like real thoughts are just like, we don't want to fight anymore.
Which
so
is, you know, it's a pretty sensible first thought.
Right. And so you end up doing a lot of like missions for these robots, because the thing is that, like, they're discovering humanity and like the idea of you know, sentience and these complex like things like grief and vengeance and fear and love, but they're approaching it all as like robots with like very strict logical
Right.
things, and which leads to a lot of like really interesting and sometimes creepy moments. But this
isn't that how normal love works?
Yeah.
Have I been going about that all wrong the whole time?
So this bit I've been doing, this robot keeps on locking himself into his house, and everyone's like, you gotta get him out. He shut himself in. You know, we're trying to get him out there talking to the other robots and socializing and whatnot. So you break him out 3 times, and each time you're like, hey, like you gotta be part of the world. You gotta
be brave. You gotta be bold. You gotta be wiser.
Exactly. Yeah. You basically You hit him with the mid '90s, you know, empowering jam, and
Right. Come, come, my lady. You're my butterfly robot baby.
maybe.
Bear, 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 bear. I'm just picturing that. That's how we do it.
We could be like Sid and Nancy. Just,
And they're like, what? They're looking up on Robot Wikipedia. What? No!
So, anyways, you break this person out 3 times, and every time you kind of like, okay, I'll go out there, I'll talk to that girl I like, you know, I'll make friends and whatnot. So I just broke him out of his own house the 3rd time, and I just get all these this text line is like, look, I tried, right, and I enjoyed myself, but it's hard. It's hard socializing. You have to read between the lines. I'm not good at it. So you know what? I have a dream. I'm gonna be the best shut-in I could possibly be. he has reached a conclusion that like 50% of millennials have already like hit. It's like, yeah, no, fuck it. Like I'm not doing this socialization shit anymore. I'm just like I'm gonna be a shut-in, but I'm gonna be damn good at it.
What does it mean to qualify as a good shut-in, though? Like, what's a skilled shut-in?
Well, according to him, is next time I'm gonna make a lock you won't be able to break in a bajillion quintillion years. There you go.
I kind of like that idea. So it's not just shutting yourself in; it's locking other people out too.
Yeah, yeah.
I've mastered the human. That was something Spock was never like or Data from Star Trek: The Next Generation. Well, Captain, I'm currently working on the human skill of pushing my loved ones away in a pattern of destructive behavior.
Well done.
Master Data, nice. You've conquered the most important thing of being human.
So this is nice. His mother, like, so the robots have like assigned themselves like mother role and brother, sister, but they actually openly acknowledge that they're not actually these things. It's just they have slotted themselves into these roles because it makes sense.
Right. But
this one's mother is like, "Aw, will you listen to my darling boy? He has a goal now. How wonderful! And it's all thanks to you." Great.
Oh. That sounds great. Sort of like if Westworld, but the motivation of Westworld was that everybody got human anxieties.
Well, okay, so that's this game, all right? This game is so hard to kind of like nail down and describe because it's at one point it's a very competent action game. You know, it's very, you know, it's Platinum designed the combat in this game and whatnot. So it has that Platinum game feel. You know, it's a lot of dodging and attacking and stuff like that. But then the game is just packed to the brim, right, with these really like kind of distressing philosophical questions and like meditations on what it means to be a human. So there's a boss you fight named Simone, and her, when you fight her the first time, right? It's not very clear like what her deal is. All you know is that she's dressed up like Marie Antoinette, and she basically attacks you with crucified bodies. That's like her weapon of choice. And like she even has like these like android bodies like strewn across her, like as part of her dress. So you fight her, and you know you get a little bit. Like, she keeps on screaming about being beautiful and whatnot. Well, so I'm playing it through again, and you're playing it from the perspective of this other character, and his main ability is to hack.
Right.
And so this time, as I'm fighting her, I'm hacking her, and you start to get like pieces of like what's going on in her mind and her memories. And what you realize is that she fell in love with another robot and wanted desperately for him to love her. And while going through what she calls like ancient human text, she got to the conclusion that beauty equals love.
Right.
Right.
As you would from ancient human
yeah.
texts.
Right. And so she develops this whole fascination with being beautiful. Well, then she overhears him mention how he kind of admires the androids and how they look, which she misinterprets as he finds the androids beautiful. So if she covers herself with androids, he will see her as beautiful.
As you do.
Yeah, and so at least in this whole deal...
I've tried something very similar to that, and I can tell you it never works.
You're right, exactly. She could have just asked. I would have told her.
I once liked a girl who told me she loved Siamese cats. 30 Siamese cat corpses later, worn as a cloak, and I can tell you, it's like she couldn't make... It was very mixed signals. Couldn't make up her mind.
So then you get this bit where she says that she discovered a passage in something that says that beauty comes from within, which she, as a robot, taking this logically step by step, that she interprets as there is something inside of robots and androids that produces love. So she starts to consume them. She starts to eat robot bodies and androids, thinking that she's consuming something that will make her beautiful, and it just drives her insane, right? The whole process just drives her batshit crazy. So when you come across her, she's just insane, and actually the other machines in the area reference this. They're like, oh, she's broken. She's a threat to all of us. You have to take her out. Like they recognize that someone of their own kind has
gone wrong.
Become essentially has gone wrong and have become a threat that they themselves can't handle. This game is just full of moments like that. Like there's, and it's almost throwaway. Like they take these like very like complex philosophical questions and experiments and stuff like that, and they throw them into the game as like these like throwaway lines. Like there's, you come across a vendor, right? And before he'll sell you anything, you have to go and find a machine, or like a piece of machinery, right? Because he says that he has a bum leg. So you go out and you find this, you give it to him, and he goes, "Oh yeah, well if you find other stuff out in the world, you can bring it back to me." And you ask, like, "Well, why can't you just go out yourself?" "Well, my leg." "Well, fix your leg." And he goes, "Well, I would, but you see, I've been out in the battlefield for so long that I've replaced so much of my body," because he's an android. He's not a human. He's like, "I've replaced so much of my body that the only thing that's left from my original model is this leg. And I'm worried that if I replace my leg, I'm no longer myself." Which is exactly what the whole... if you ever heard of the Theseus paradox, or the
right.
ship of Theseus thought experiment, that's exactly what that is. It's the idea of like, if you replace piece by piece by piece of something, at what point does it stop being itself, and is the new thing
right.
what it is, you know? But yeah, the game is just full of that, and it's fascinating. It's really is something that a game, especially in this day and age, it would be willing to use some of these deeper like philosophical quandaries as like filler text, you know?
Yeah, sounds fascinating. Just before there's a break in the conversation, hello to Chicken Lisa, who says, "This is great. I just received the stream announcement while I handed in an assignment. I just completed my homework for the day. 15 minutes in the stream though, but hi Chicken Lisa. Sorry it took me a while to get to you. I was waiting for a good gap. That's all. How you doing?" And yeah, no, that sounds really fascinating, actually. It's a game I do keep meaning to get to, but it's one of those where I want to make sure I've got time. You know?
Well, I will say, from what I've read, all right, and sorry if this is a spoiler or anything, but essentially, the first 2 playthroughs are the same game, except from two different perspectives.
Right.
And because of the abilities of the 2 different characters, you actually get more or less of the story. It starts to fill in some of the gaps in the story. Now, from my understanding, though, is that after this playthrough, the next couple will actually be the second half of the game.
Yeah, I've heard that. But don't tell me anymore, I want to play it.
Yeah. Alright.
I need to hold that. Hold that. You're a terrible game spoiler, John. No, you're not. By which I mean you're a very effective game spoiler because you regularly spoil games. I am so bad at this.
But yeah, if you get a chance, definitely pick it up. Because, I mean, besides it being, like, super fascinating, like, with how it tells its story and whatnot, it's actually fun. It's actually a fun game. Like, for instance, like, the hacking minigame just becomes a top-down shooter. Like a Geometry Wars sort of thing. So instead of, like a stupid pipe puzzle or something like that, it's just more gameplay, But
right.
They dress it up to make it like, oh, you're hacking. Like, whatever, no, I'm just shooting shapes. Yeah, it's like it's all really fun. The gameplay itself is like legitimately fun.
Well, it sounds good. I've heard nothing but good things about it. And I do want to get to it at some point. It's just a case of with it requiring so much time.
Complaint with the game is like it's not exactly like visually stunning. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's not. And don't get me wrong. Like I don't think that graphics make a game. We've talked about that a lot in the past, but this one is just. It is kind of a drag to look at for a while.
I don't think faulting graphics in certain respects is a problem. I think it's important to remember games are a visual medium.
Mm-hmm.
And a game
brown.
A game that looks nice is enhanced by looking nice, I think.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I agree. So there.
Like, it might not, might be the best looking game at the time, but like, Viva Pinata wouldn't have been Viva Pinata without looking as good as it did, I think,
Right.
Looking like it did. It's always my favorite example. Because so much of that game's visual style, people remember that for being like a weird, quirky game, but so much of its visual style sets the tone for that. Or like, what's another good example of a different kind of visual style that I think really, really matters? Even if it's not very powerful, if it still looks effective,
Right.
Like, for example, I think, actually, there are parts of Final Fantasy 15 that look substantially better than other parts. And when you're playing those parts that look better, the game is more fun. But partly because it feels like more effort and more time went into it. Mm-hmm. The hunting monsters on the plains is way better than the corridor sections that come later in the game.
Right.
In fact, I would say the game actually really gets substantially weaker once you get onto that long run of missions that take you to the end,
Oh, yeah.
Once you get aboard the train, basically, I'd say the game almost completely falls apart. I'm basically trying to push through.
Pretty bad.
But I was trying to push through and pull to the end.
Yeah,
Hello to Dylan Shanley. How you doing? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh. Yes, you did.
No, I really didn't. It was a hello. I didn't want to wait as long as I waited for Chicken Lisa.
Okay. That whole mission where you're by yourself, that is just a slog. It's just...
Yeah. I kept thinking maybe I should switch to the other two, but I didn't want to... Do you know what I mean? I just didn't want to... I didn't want to feel like I was going down the wrong route, I guess. You know, because you can switch to the other two.
The other two?
You can switch to Ignis and Gladio in that mission.
Oh, that's right, because they added that. Okay, so here's the thing. When that game first came out, that was not an option.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you played as Noctis. That whole thing. There was no...
Oh. Oh, at least it's not just me who hated it then.
Oh, everyone hated it. It was universally reviled. That, and I'm assuming that's why they added. I get the feeling that it was probably going to be like DLC. You know, this.
Well, the other DLC in the game is very much like that, isn't it?
Yes. Now, okay, I will say though, because if you haven't played any of the DLC, right?
No, I'm probably not going to for some time anyway.
Yeah.
Chicken Laser says, "Is that Pepsi?" It is. Yes. Chicken Laser also says, "How about you stop dying? That would help." Sorry, carry on. Trying to keep it out of the chat.
So, what's really interesting about the DLC so far that I've played, I'm still on the Prompto one.
Right.
I've done the Ignis one, and they actually play as completely different games.
Oh yeah.
Like Ignis is much more of a hack and slash sort of game. Like the whole point is to build up combos and then unleash stronger moves. And then there's like parrying and like dodging and stuff like that, which is in the other game as well. But yeah, and then like the Prompto one actually plays as like a third-person like shooter.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. It's almost like you're playing like Max Payne, you know?
Oh God. Is it good?
Yeah. It is. It's. I mean, I think the Prompto one is weaker than the Gladios one.
Right.
But what's actually kind of interesting is you get a little bit more insight on Ariana, or whatever her name is, Arane, because she shows up, and she's your partner through most of the game, or of the Prompto one. How do you pronounce her name? Is it Arane or Arane?
Do you know what?
The Dragoon.
Aranea? Do you know what? I don't remember.
Yeah. But yeah,
I'm terrible with names in that game.
You get more insight from her.
Fair enough.
What her deal is. You actually figure out why she just like switched sides and started helping you. She reveals why that happened.
Oh. Well, I am liking the game. I'm trying to push through to the end now because I have liked it, but I will say I enjoyed the earlier sections where you could drop off and hunt, and as soon as they stopped letting you go and do that, that took out a lot of my enjoyment of the game, I think. What it feels like is, for me so far, it feels like the first 2/3 of the game were a real sort of attempt to move away from into a different direction. But then the final third feels like nobody on the team really wanted to go there. You know what I mean? So you're stuck with this thing that's like, oh, okay, well, we hooked him in with that bit at the beginning, now we can get back to the good stuff. But the good stuff is not good. But having said all that, like, I have enjoyed the game a lot. So I can't fault it too much, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's...
I will say this, nobody's playing the objectives on this anymore.
No. They didn't really do that to start with.
No, that's right.
I will say with Final Fantasy 15, like, if there's ever a game that you can say that it's greater than some of its parts, that's it.
Right. Oh, sure.
Because when you start to break down that game like piece by piece, like individual part, it falls apart. Like the game, a game does not necessarily hold up under that scrutiny.
It's a smaller game than it seems like it's going to be early on, actually.
And I get the I definitely get the impression that because that was deliberate, because they were going to try to fill it out with DLC, you know.
Yes. Oh, sure. Which, considering they've actually had to cancel quite a bit of the DLC, it obviously didn't work out that well.
Well, how many did they? It was three of them, right? It was just two. They just canceled two because they're gonna
canceled
release
three.
The one. Is it three? Because I know they canceled the Aranea one because she was gonna have one, or Arane or whatever the fuck you pronounce her name.
I think there was going to be an Arden one.
That one's still coming out.
Well, that one's still coming.
Yeah,
Fair
that
enough.
one's still coming, and then there was going to be a Noct one. So, yeah. And then I think there was going to be... I don't know. I still want to check out that Comrades thing, because I guess it is active still.
That's the standalone, the standalone DLC, right?
It's the multiplayer. It's a multiplayer mode. And I have no idea how it works.
I can't imagine it works well.
No, I can't imagine either. But yeah, you get to make your own character and everything. It's weird.
I'm still kind of annoyed that VR is a separate thing.
Oh yeah. Or the
You have to
fishing
buy
mode.
separately. Well, John, there's supposedly a whole Final Fantasy 15 VR game, but you got to buy the whole thing.
Yeah, and isn't it from Prompto's perspective?
I've no idea. I don't know that much about it.
I thought it was actually supposed to be kind of like almost like a Pokemon Snap sort of thing, where it just runs through events in the game, and you're supposed to take pictures as you go that meet certain qualifications.
Well, the thing is, I know that there's combat in it, and that the warping is part of it too.
Oh god, warping in VR. That sounds nauseating.
Well, VR's kind of already always warping, if you know what I mean. Because that's better than running, actually. But, yeah, I can't say I would love it. I don't think I would love it.
I also can't imagine Square doing it right. Honestly, like I know what you mean. Square, like Square developed this game, or published this game, I should say. They published this game, but
for people at home, John and I aren't playing the same game. Square did not make Star Wars Battlefront.
Sorry, I'm talking about Nier Automata. Yeah, they published this game, but when they lead the development on games, they always kind of just drop the ball somewhere along the lines. They will drop the ball. Well,
they have a very long-standing philosophy that is really strange. In fact, they're a very interesting company because they're one of the few studios, I would say, that has a legacy that goes back to at least the NES, and yet is mostly associated with a certain type of game. And yet, they are one of the few... Like, they're still making Final Fantasy games, for sure. But unlike a lot of other companies from that era, they don't trade on nostalgia that much. Like, you know, Namco still releases all the Pac-Man collections and things like that, and Final Fantasy still releases the old games, but unlike a lot of people, you know, Capcom has been bringing back classic Mega Man, for example. But there's no Final Fantasy game that's like the original NES Final Fantasy coming out. What's really strange is it's a company that is so famous for one type of game in its golden age, right? Like, they were famous for the 8-bit and then 16-bit RPG, JRPG, absolutely. They're still famous from the JRPG, but they have seemed to, in my mind, since the mid-90s, been fixated on the idea that they can't release games that are like those old games anymore. And so they keep iterating and iterating and iterating, the end result being that the last games from Square, not counting all the stuff they inherited from Enix, Tomb Raider, stuff like that, but the last games from Square Enix that were big, iconic games that people still remember were the PS1 Final Fantasy games, I would say. That era. And so they do still some games do well, and they keep bringing these games out. Final Fantasy X people like. I think 12 was pretty popular, and then what was that other big JRPG they made that was
Chrono.
No, after that. Let me look it up. But they
Legend Dragoon?
No, it's more recent than that. Let me pull it up on Wikipedia and I'll remember. So they do make games that are pretty well received, but they're Kingdom Hearts. There we go.
Oh,
Kingdom
yeah,
Hearts
okay.
is probably their most successful franchise right now. Well, not most successful. Probably the only one since Final Fantasy on the PS1 to enter like beloved status in any meaningful way, right?
Right.
And Kingdom Hearts is a really good example of everything that's wrong with how they're treating Final Fantasy and how they're treating games. They just want to iterate and become more and more extreme each time, and they've completely lost the core of what people liked about the games, I think. To me. I say this as someone who really likes turn-based combat. I know not everybody does, but I do. And you can't get a JRPG now. It's so strange to me that Final Fantasy VII is so beloved. So unbelievably beloved. One of the most well-liked games ever made, probably, still to this day. And yet Square Enix don't make any games that play like Final Fantasy VII. You know what I mean? That's so strange to me. Like, and it's the same idea that, all people like about Final Fantasy VII was when Aerith died, and Cloud's flashbacks and things like that, and nobody stops to think, well, no, maybe they liked the combat. You know what I mean? Maybe they liked it like that. So you just, they don't make any games that feel like Final Fantasy VII to play. And even if Final Fantasy VII is not your favorite one, when you ask people what their favorite Final Fantasy game is, nobody says anything past 10. And 10 was the last one that even came close to feeling like that, you know?
Right.
And it's the same thing Nintendo did with 2D Mario. But yeah, carry on.
Well, no, I pretty much agree with you.
This guy does not know where to escort the cargo to. You're running out of combat. It's on the map. Run to that dot. I'm escorting you. Come on. No, you can't walk through the trees. I'm sorry, have you played a video game before?
Sir? Sir!
Well, you got us killed. Well done, buddy. We should play this again. It has an active community, and we don't have to play Battlefront 2. Mind you, having replayed this, there are some things I miss about Battlefront 2. Like that espionage mission that ends outside a car park you can't get out of.
Oh.
Like, that level would always take, like, the full maximum possible time. Because you'd just be stood trying to get out of that one door.
No, I mean, back to Square. Like, what I will say, what I do like about Square is, unlike a lot of companies that do, like Ubisoft, for example, right? For a very long time, and I mean, they still do it. They, for lack of a better word, made Ubisoft games, right? Like,
Right.
it was, you know, open areas, large, or what the fuck is the term I'm looking for?
Radio towers.
Yeah, so, well, yeah, basically, it was, you know, free roaming worlds with radio towers that you had to go and get, and then reveal more of the map and blah blah blah. Right? That's what they do. Like, and all their games are kind of that, just with different dressings.
It was when the crew was that that people started to go, hold on.
wait, really? Like, we're doing this again?
Well, there was
Ubisoft?
there was that great review of Watch Dogs. Some website actually reviewed Watch Dogs, and the whole review is this is our review of 2013's Ubisoft game. And then it said Ubisoft game stars white guy protagonist, blah 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 blah, hunting down vengeance for his dead family. And it was scathing.
Right. So what I would say about Square, though, is that I feel like, especially when it comes to games that they aren't developing, they're much more willing to, like, take chances.
Right. That's fair.
Which I can appreciate. Like, okay, like, for instance, this game, right? Like, Nier, the last few games in the Nier series or whatever, it was...
Well, Nier Automata's only the second one, isn't it?
No. Well, okay, so it has a really weird history, I guess. These games are technically spin-offs of the Drakengard games.
Right.
And there was 3 of them, and then there was 2 Nier games released in Japan. It was Nier Replicant and Nier Gestalt, I think it was called. Yeah, Nier Gestalt.
Near far.
Wherever you are, yeah.
I believe that. Sorry, carry on.
So, those games, like, but only one of them got released in the U.S. or in the West, I guess. And they just called it Nier. They dropped the subtitle. And they didn't exactly sell incredibly well, right? Even in Japan, it's not like a huge series. It's a very niche series. It was very beloved,
niche.
Yeah, niche.
Sorry.
It was a cult. It was a cult classic.
Cult.
A near cult. Neuralt. There we go. A Neuralt.
A Neuralt.
A Neuralt.
Neuralt.
Neuralt. But, like, I guess the developer or the director, that Yoko Taro, who's a weird motherfucker in his own right, made a pitch, and they liked the pitch, but they basically said, okay, we will fund this game, all right? We like what you're saying here, we like what you want to do, but here are some conditions. We are going to bring on Platinum, and there's one other studio that they brought on to work on things. They are going to do the combat for this game. You are not going to touch the combat, all right? Platinum will be doing the combat, and you will let them do their thing, all right? And so Yoko Taro agrees, and they make this game, which plays completely different than the other Niers and Dragon Card games. And same thing that they did with like Hitman, right? So they're like, okay, we are going to fund the first Hitman, right? But we are going to make certain stipulations, like this is how we want the game to go, and you are not going to make another Hitman Absolution or Hitman Blood Money. You're gonna, we will do the next Hitman, but you have to switch up the style, right? You have to switch up, and they did.
And so was it to Square Enix. Okay, well, we'll keep buying Final Fantasy games, but we'd like you to not make another Final Fantasy 13. And they went, nah, two more! Sorry. We still got a bit of an echo here. Is it supposed to be over yet? La 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 la.
I need time. I need more time.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
There.
Worth it.
Oh, shit. Oh, my controller's dead.
Oh, no.
And,
has it died at a critical Nier Automata moment?
Well, no, but the problem is that every time it dies, it's going to kill my headphones.
Right.
Find a charger. I gotta find a charger. 1 second, I'll be right back. Entertain the troops.
I will entertain the troops. How you doing, everybody? We're talking to playing games and talking about games. This is just a chilled out Those on Biscuits stream. If you're enjoying it, say hello. I'm playing a little bit of Star Wars Battlefront. I haven't really talked about this that much today because this is a podcast stream, not really our usual thing. John and I used to play this back in the day, and it's actually a really good game, I think. Didn't get a lot of love at the time, and has since been very much tarred by the existence of... I'm going to switch my blaster. Very much tarred by the existence of Star Wars Battlefront 2, which is like everything wrong with this one, and then a load of microtransactions on it. But I actually really liked this game. The Endor maps in particular I think are great. It's a beautiful game. Weirdly, never thought I'd get to the point where I thought this game looked dated, but it actually does. It has aged a little bit, but still very, very enjoyable. This mode is cargo, where you've got to kind of claim points. I'm being absolutely blasted because for a while I was the only one on the team. And then there were two of us for a little bit. So we're still getting a little bit killed, but I think there's a lot of players who aren't... welcome back. Oh! I'm trying to remember to use that Destiny trick of crouching when it looks like people might have a headshot on me, you know?
Right.
It's going alright.
Alright.
I'm surprised how many people are playing this. It's nice. I still like this game a lot. I do miss like those Camino maps though. Which you hated.
Oh, fucking hate those.
I like that one. I'm trying. Do you know? I must admit I don't like any of the maps or modes on Battlefront 2 as much. Like I like the class system and the buying in on reinforcements for vehicles and heroes, because at least you get a chance of getting a hero, you know. But yeah, I don't like the modes in that one as much. At all. So how you doing, John? What do you want to talk about? What have you been doing tonight?
What do I want to talk about? Like I said, I'll be able to move into my new apartment.
Tell us about your new apartment.
Actually.
Yeah, I'm guessing you've seen it already. You're not just moving in
yes,
unseen.
Yes.
You don't want to get there and find that you're basically moving into a storage locker or anything.
Right. It is considerably smaller than where I live now, but
right. But you had a roommate, right? So you're going from that to living alone too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even by one bedroom apartment standard, it is still kind of small, but it's
right.
It's cheap.
Do you like
And
it?
I do actually, because it's going to come with a lot of benefits for me. One, I'm going to be
Ooh,
moving.
apartments with benefits.
Yeah, no strings attached apartments. My apartment is DTE
Hot
down
walk
to
result.
escrow. Bless you as well, Chicken Lisa. Did someone sneeze? Did I
I
sneeze?
did, but I muted the mic.
Oh, apparently not, because Chicken Lisa says bless you.
Oh god, please tell me
Part of
that's
me
going
likes
through
to
the right mic.
My personal belief is that it's like a real kindly Southern woman. Oh, bless your heart, little one.
Hold on, I'm just going to listen to myself on the mic a little bit.
Southern.
Hello, hello, hello.
Oh, bless your heart, little one.
Oh, I'm just going to listen to myself on the mic a little bit. Oh my god, I think we're putting the wrong mic through. Oh no, we can't be. Look, if you're hearing me through that, it must be coming through the actual mic, right? If you're hearing me on it.
I think so.
Hold on.
Okay, you would have lost me for a second. Okay, I think I might have been streaming through the wrong mic all this time, which is really annoying. Chicken Lizard, I think it's the wrong mic. It is. Fine. We had the party set up to the right mic, but not the, not me. So when I muted my mic to sneeze, everybody heard me sneeze. And all those times I was muting the mic to call you a toss-pop. They've been streamed.
I thought that was just a term of endearment. Is that an insult?
When I briefly muted the mic to say, "Oh God, he's talking about Nier Automata again." Blummet. Oh, Jesus save me. They heard all that apparently.
It was so much hatred for that you became a believer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you know when they say like when people like confront death, mortality for the first time, they suddenly become believers in Jesus.
Right.
It's that, and you talking about Nier Automata. I'm kidding. It sounds fascinating. I enjoy hearing you talk about Nier Automata.
You like hearing me talk about tomato.
Yeah. Fucking hell, thank God we got the right mic. God, boring. Get me out of here. So, yeah, how do you like it, Nier?
I'm liking it very well.
Oh,
we talked about Nier again and not my apartment.
Oh yeah, so your apartment. So you're moving.
Yeah. What I'm gonna like about it is my apartment with benefits comes with
Bow, chicka, wow, wow.
yeah. It's in town, which is gonna be a real big thing for me, which means I can finally get good internet.
You've been really excited for this, haven't you?
I really have been. And actually, I gotta call the company tomorrow and set up a date for them to come install that. But they're pretty quick. I'm just cautiously watching my mother's dog right now. He's walking by a bunch of wires, and he made it. He cleared the path. Well done, Guthrie.
So this minister says blame the roadie for the mic. Katie Biscuits says, yeah, that's what I thought too, Owen. John in his apartment, the true story. What? What did I think too? I'm confused. Anyway, carry on.
So, yeah, I'm gonna be able to do that, and I can walk to places again, which is nice. Specifically, now, here we go. I'm going to be able to walk to bars again.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's nice because I don't have to set up rides anymore.
Right.
And I like to drink. All right, I enjoy social drinking.
I love how like no one's giving you a problem for this right now except yourself. But you're like,
well, I know.
Sue me. I like to drink. Well, yeah, me too. It's fine. Go for it, champ.
I like getting shit-faced and waking up naked in random people's apartments. All right.
You sound like what's his name? Supreme Court. I like beer. I still like beer. Kavanaugh.
Beer.
Are you Kavanaughing?
Beer and calendars.
Beer and calendars. Do you know what? A beer company should give him a calendar. Just every incident on the every date on the thing. It's just like nothing happened. No. I don't remember, but I wrote it down and no. What?
It's beer o'clock.
I still don't know what the strategy there was. Did he just hope that if he repeatedly talked about how much he liked beer, people would think it was about beer?
I don't know, man.
Like, why didn't he just pick something more memorable like, look, and on this day of the calendar it says, I didn't steal diamonds from the Federal Diamond Reserve. Why pick beer? Everyone likes beer. Well, no, actually, lots of people don't like beer, but everybody likes to drink.
Right?
I mean, did he? Did he think the people objecting to him were like the temperance movement? That's
right. Like, we got nothing against you drinking. Just don't sexually assault someone when you do it. Like,
right.
Oh,
Sinister Minister says, sober as a judge used to be a thing once. Yeah, officer, I'm sober as a judge. Judge Kavanaugh.
Which in this case means I'm not very sober. But I'm still sober as a judge. Get it? Because I'm a judge. A supreme
sober
judge.
as a judge.
Judge Supreme.
It's actually pronounced Judga. Sober as a judge. Over time, it got slurred.
Like, when we look back through the police report, we notice there's a 45-minute diatribe where Judge Kavanaugh believes that Judge Supreme should be a sandwich.
Excuse me, sir, could you walk along the line and offer us a legal opinion on the 43rd Amendment?
The 43rd Amendment?
This was a hypothetical future stop.
So
things have been amended a lot since then.
I'll just say, like, there's 26, man. I think.
Well, whatever. I'm just expecting whatever 27 was to be very controversial and go back and forth a lot.
Hold on, let me. How many amendments are there? I should know this, but
I know a few amendments.
It's
not my area, so I don't even know many of them. First Amendment, obviously free speech, because it's so important they didn't put it in the Constitution the first time. Don't know what the Second Amendment is. The right to bear arms, right? That's Second Amendment.
Right.
The Third Amendment is close encounters with UFOs.
Right.
The Fifth Amendment is okay. I don't know what the Third Amendment is. The Fifth Amendment is the one that says that you don't have to incriminate yourself in court. Right? You
right.
have the right to remain silent. That's basically the Third Amendment, right? Sorry, the Fifth Amendment.
Right.
And then one of the amendments gets rid of slavery, but it wasn't as important as guns. So they didn't get to it very promptly.
This is my favorite. This is one of my favorite things about the Constitution, where you try to explain to people, like, yeah, those first amendments are kind of reactionary. They are written like in response to something very specific that might not apply so much anymore. The Third Amendment it places restrictions on the quartering of soldiers in a private home. So basically, you can't be forced to house soldiers.
The 17th Amendment, war with the Dutch. No one will harbor the Dutch.
The Fourth Amendment, the U.S. Army will not wear red.
Is that the Fourth Amendment?
No.
I wish it would. That'd be great if it was. What is the Fourth Amendment?
Prohibits unreasonable searches and seizures, and sets out requirements for search warrants based on probable cause.
Ah, yeah, that's a pretty good amendment. The Eighth Amendment. Laws...
Yeah, it's alright.
The Eighth Amendment. Laws shall not be stored on gramophone records.
Let's see here. Sixth Amendment protects the right to a fair and speedy public trial.
What if you don't want a speedy trial? Where's my right to slow the fuck down the legal system for months and months in painful litigation?
I mean, it does it anyways. Like, my favorite is the Ninth Amendment.
I would say that's the most violated right, a fair and speedy trial. That's pretty much up there, isn't it?
Well, I mean, there's so much in the Constitution that's based on like these kind of like abstract words, you know, like speedy. What does that actually mean? Like, what is your definition of speedy as opposed to mine, right?
Right, like I feel like it should be like going to the off-brand supermarket, you know, where you know those supermarkets where they don't care so much about making you feel like you're welcome as much as scan the equipment and scan the goods and get out, you know?
Right. Let's see here. So my favorite is actually the Ninth Amendment, right?
Oh yeah?
So the Ninth Amendment it protects the rights not listed in the Constitution, right?
So does that mean if you write a right down anywhere, it's protected in the Ninth Amendment?
Like it's a very slippery slope amendment, right? Where it's like, no, I have the right to dress small felines in blonde wigs. That's my right. Like,
I do always love it when
Ronald loves it.
When people go, you can't take away our Second Amendment rights. You can't just change the Constitution. I'm like, what do you think an amendment is?
Right. Let's see here.
They're like, no, that's adding to it. That's not taking away. Have you ever seen that video by, oh! God, I always forget the guy's name who does it, but he does the sing-along Second Amendment, which is very enjoyable.
Oh, yeah. It's like, yeah, watch that comma.
Yeah, confer on the people the right to bear arms. Oh, they've got like 7 Y-Wings coming in on this uplink, and it's the one on Endor.
So, like, this is my favorite about people when it comes to the, comes to the Constitution. When we're like, oh, it's unconstitutional for the government to tax us like this, right? Like, the IRS is actually not a real institution. What they do is illegal and it's theft. The 16th Amendment permits Congress to levy an income tax without appropriating it among the various states or basing it on the United States Census.
One of the things I like is when people go, oh, well, you see, actually, they try and get these obscure legalese to be like, okay, so because of this odd legal construct here, they don't actually have legal authority to tax you or enforce such and such law, you know? Mm-hmm. And all you have to do to, like, try and explain to people is, even if that were true, right? It would only take the will to rewrite the law to change that. Because because the intention is not that it means that. And they have the power to just change that law, right? So by deciding arbitrarily that you don't recognize or respect that law, when the rest of the system operates under the assumption that, yeah, that's how it works, all you've really done is refuse to recognize the authority of the government. Even if you found an interpretation, you know what I mean? Even if you were right in your interpretation, the fact that everybody else agrees that's what it means is kind of the only way states and laws operate anyway, you know?
Right.
And so you meet these people like the freemen on the land, the sovereign citizen types, you know? Who have these very lofty ideas of like, oh, I found this obscure thing that says, like, one of the things that you hear from freemen on the land is that because the US or the UK is technically in debt, then technically they're operating under admiralty law now, therefore all the courts don't apply. And it's based on this really bizarre reading of Magna Carta. But,
Right.
like, Magna Carta's been superseded by so many laws since, you know? And they say none of them applies because they were in debt when the whole process began, right? And it's absurd, right? But if you can get to that point where you're like, oh, I figured out that the law is just a bunch of people asserting authority over other people, surely you can get to the point of going, right, then in which case, you don't really have an option to kind of work around that. You know what I mean? If they've all agreed it means a thing. Like, it's not a secret.
So here's what...
It's not a secret that the power of the state is essentially operated by consensus and then force, right?
Right.
You meet these people, like anarchists, who feel like the rest of us just haven't figured that out yet, and we're like, no! We're just not dumb. And it... Of course the state is something... Like, we give the state its power by not resisting the state. Sure. And then the state uses that power to organize society in a way that is theoretically better for all of us, but not always. Sometimes through force, right? I get that. And I get that sometimes it operates badly, and you have to, you know, work with the society and democracy to kind of try and make it operate better. But that doesn't mean that just because you figured that out, you cracked the code to not having to follow any laws. It doesn't work like that. Because they have the power to send you to jail for it.
Yeah, something that everyone else here is pretty okay with. So, like, yeah, power of the people. The people kind of want you in jail for being an asshole.
It's like that Stefan Molyneux guy, who is absolutely insane. But he's an anarchist who believes fundamentally that at the very heart, the existence of the state is immoral, and anyone who advocates its power is therefore, like, advocating the state should have the right to kill you, because the police have the legal right to sometimes kill people and things like that. And the thing is, on one level, he's right, you know? But it's such a simplistic, childish, basic view, masquerading as, like, insight, you know?
So, here's one of my favorite things about the Constitution, right? So I'm reading this list, and it's listing when the amendment was submitted and then when it was ratified, and then how long it took for it to be submitted and ratified, right?
Right, there's that recent one that only just got ratified, right? That was proposed ages ago.
Yeah, okay, so it's the 27th Amendment, right? The 27th Amendment delays laws affecting congressional salary from taking effect until after the next election of representatives, okay? Submitted September 25th, 1789. Ratified May 5th, 1992. 202 years and 223 days. Like, it took them 200 years ago. Hey, maybe we shouldn't allow leaving congressmen to affect the salary of incoming congressional members. Because that's like the biggest fuck you in the world, right? Where it's like, oh, I got voted out, huh? Who wants to who wants to pass a law lowering the the salary of all incoming congressional members to like $5? Huh? Anyone?
About 5-6 years ago, there was a big scandal, big scandal in the UK. Maybe a little bit longer than that, because it came out that MPs in Britain. Now, being an MP is not a hugely well-paid job, right? It's paid, but it's not paid like it's not a very, very lucrative job. You don't get paid a ton, but it is a very high-stress job, and there's been questions over whether MPs get paid enough here and there, but the difficulty is it's political suicide to kind of give MPs more money. Do you know what I mean? Like, because MPs have to vote for that themselves, you know?
Right.
So, in theory, there's no trouble getting the votes, but you don't want to look like it. Anyway, so it came out that, essentially, a lot of MPs were, generously, charging the expenses. And this was a huge scandal, because it came out that basically MPs were using the expenses to claim for, like, the most ludicrous things. Like, there was one MP, and he's like an old-fashioned aristocrat, essentially. And he'd claimed for, like, a really expensive antique little duck bath for his duck pond in his garden as part of, like, this whole raft of renovations. So it was this massive scandal. about MP's expenses, and a lot of people had to basically say they were paying it back. A hell of a lot of them. It was very, very, very huge, the expenses scandal. And then, like, 6 months afterwards, they voted themselves a really big pay rise while it was still in the papers. And everyone was like, do you remember, like, a couple months ago when everybody was very angry because you took all that money you weren't supposed to take, all of you? Because it was pretty much all of them, right? It was pretty much everybody. And there were a few people who said things that I sort of believe, which is MPs are underpaid relative to similar jobs at that scale, if you know what I mean? And that the expenses system was kind of run as a way of paying MPs off the books, and everybody knew it was being worked like that. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But at the same time, it was so funny. These accounts over and over and over of what they were getting paid for. But then they voted themselves this pay rise, and it was like the worst possible thing they could have done. Even though I think most people probably agree that MPs probably don't get paid like in line with stuff. Tiny Bit Secret says, and they did give themselves a pay rise this year. Well, they give themselves a pay rise every year, but the problem for the last few years is they've been voting to give themselves a pay rise while giving all the other public sectors a pay cut, which is, you know, what they do.
Terrible.
Yeah. But they always do that, you know what I mean? like that's just business as usual, really. The Queen got a big stipend, I think it was about 2 years ago, to do up the palace, despite the fact that she has a massive personal fortune. This is something that really irritates me. Every time they talk about, whether we should get rid of the monarchy, they say things like, well, it contributes that much, all the tourism to Buckingham Palace, and if we abolish the monarchy, Buckingham Palace would become just a private home, you know. And I always want to say, well, no, it wouldn't, because it's clearly state property, isn't it? If it's this giant palace owned by the Queen because she is the Queen, were she to no longer be the Queen, that's the property of the state, not the individual. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's one of the difficulties. And it's difficult to explain to people why I feel this way, but all the personal wealth amassed by the monarch because they are the monarch is, in my opinion, state property. Do you know what I mean? Not private business enterprises, but everything that they have only come to because they are the monarch as part of their business of being monarch is state property. But I could see why people disagree with that, sure. But I can't see how people can disagree with that when we are funding the maintenance of the building because it's a state asset. You know? Like, no! Give us the house, Liz! Piss off! She's gonna
house.
die too. I think I'll live to see the end of the monarchy. To be honest. Because society has changed so much since she was crowned, you know? Mm-hmm. And when she dies, and she's not long, she's gonna die soon. Everybody really knows that it's gonna go that way. She's been doing less and less and less public functions. Nobody would dream of replacing Queen Elizabeth. She's been here so long, you know what I mean? Nobody would abolish the monarchy on her watch. Because people have sort of grandfathered in positive feelings about her. But when she dies, Charles is going to be under such incredible scrutiny, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Things have just changed so much since we had a new monarch. And on top of that, that's why I really don't... People say that, oh, when the Queen dies, we should have a referendum about whether we keep the monarchy. I actually don't want one then. Because we'll lose that one. Do you know what I mean? If it's just after she's died, and Charles has just been crowned king, people would lose that. No one would get rid of the monarchy under those circumstances. But if you gave people a referendum on it 5 years after she died, it would be done. It would be gone. I think.
Yeah.
Because I think it's just like Brexit and about the Scottish referendum, which they didn't win, but it's a very similar situation. As soon as you give people the conversation, people think about it in a way they've never thought about it before, you know? Except Brexit's career suicide, like national suicide, and this isn't.
We've activated the uplink station. Well done.
It's so weird. Like, just the... hold on. I just got something really weird happen in the game.
You okay?
Yo, I'm just reading. Whoa! What the hell?
I dread to think. I'm just locking in some Y-wings here.
What did I just do? Did I... Well, I just got an ending to the game. What did I do?
That's amazing.
What did I do? I have no idea what I just did. Well, okay, so did I just leave too soon? Like,
That's great. You could just trigger an ending.
yeah,
I like the idea that from this point on, anything you do might trigger an ending. Every time you replay
God,
now,
please.
it's like a dramatic rush to get something done before an ending occurs.
Oh my god. I didn't save.
No.
Fuck, I have to go do all that shit again.
Oh, has it actually lost you progress?
Yeah.
Doesn't that ending count towards your next playthrough in some way?
No, because, like, fuck. So there's, like, these weird, like, endings that can happen, like, in the middle of like, a playthrough, and it's like, if you take, like, for example, you get an ending if you accidentally uninstall your OS chip,
Right.
which I did, because it's part of your inventory, and I thought, oh, I can sell this? I don't even know what this is. And I sold it, and it just, the screen blacked out and, like, ran the credits through.
That's great.
And it considered ending. So what happened was, I knew this was going to happen. Like, there's a story trigger, and you're supposed to run back to the city and fight this robot.
Y-wing reports positive lock on the
Well, I
enemy
was on my way back, and it just went black, and goes, oh yeah, 2B and 9S abandoned their mission, the city was destroyed, Yorhov soon followed. Like, what? I was specifically running to go do that. Like,
That's great.
fuck.
Come on, drop the Y-wings.
Whatever.
Airstrike incoming.
I can't believe I do. You know, and here's the shitty thing, like, this actually does really annoy me that this happened. It should, when it does something like this, it should just, like, make a quick autosave, you know, like haha, this is cute, this is a cute little thing that happened. But, you know, you're, whatever.
You sound livid.
I'm actually really upset.
I'm busy destroying a walker and walker assault. I can't have any pity for you.
Damn you! Damn you!
I must have been finding it mildly hilarious.
Oh, this game. Like, it's so good, but it's, like, infuriating at the same time.
This is so much better than the Battlefront 2 walker assault mode.
Oh yeah, that one number 2 sucks.
I really don't like having to get those disruptors. 'Cause did you ever like manage to get one of those disruptors without just getting your head blown off?
Well, that's the shitty thing about it. You know, it's like it's so easy in that mode when you are the attacker to like just camp. You can camp those things. And
Right. And as soon as someone gets them, they appear on the map for everybody as well. So you're just a target.
Whereas, like in this Walker Assault, like yeah, you know where where the areas are, where the transmitters are, but it still requires you to go to that place. You can't sit there a mile off and shoot the one person who has like,
Right.
the.
Well done.
Yeah,
Now
absolutely.
defend it.
I can't do this. I'm I'm not gonna go and do all these things again right now.
Reinstall Battlefront. Come play with me, John. I bet you've had this installed for a long time, right?
What's that?
I said reinstall this. Come play with me. And it'll take you about 6 weeks.
Did I? I can't remember. Did I own this on disc or did I own this on?
I think you had this digitally, right? It won't be installed at this point, surely, though.
Y-wing tracking signal initialized.
Nope, it is not installed.
It's still good, by the way. I'm still enjoying it.
Let me. Oh shit! I just packed all my my games too. Fuck.
Oh, I thought you had this one digitally. This is one of the first ones I got digitally, because I ended up getting it like midnight.
I don't think I had either of them digitally. Now that I think about it.
Oh no, you did, because you couldn't trade Battlefront 2, don't you remember? You were like, I would
that's
have
right.
traded it if I could. Because I did trade it. I didn't even keep it for your sake.
We did it. Darth Vader's been defeated.
That's really weird then, because like, it's not in my library at all.
I guess you must have had this one on disc then. 2, you definitely had.
Well, neither of them.
Oh, weird. Wait. They've changed the library recently, so it shows installs and then purchases separately. Are you just looking at?
Oh wait, hold on. I know what it is.
Were you searching for Battlefront instead of Star Wars Battlefront?
It's still not here.
Oh, weird.
Is it under EA, Star Wars, Battlefront?
Shouldn't be.
Y-wing tracking signal online.
Huh. I wonder if I go to the store. Let me.
You definitely on like your main original profile.
Yeah.
Weird. Are you Chamberlain from the Dark Crystal? In some way, aren't we all Chamberlain from the Dark Crystal?
It's true.
And after all, the real Chamberlain from the Dark Crystal was inside us all along. Waiting to claw his way out through our throat. Oh, come on, uplinks. Do they even have any? Oh, that's why we're winning so well. They don't have anybody playing.
Take it.
They got half a team.
Okay, here. When I go to the store page, it just says download, so that's good.
Yeah, fair enough.
I must have had Battlefront 1 on disc, though.
Yeah, fair enough. I think we could do some of this
Let's
again. When the time comes.
I'm glad. I'm actually glad that
Received AT-AT coordinates.
for the most part these just for you recommendations have gotten a little bit better.
Right, because it used to just be just what we're trying to sell right now.
Right. So when I go to because you played Nier Automata, here your recommendation is Persona 5,
Almost
Gravity
making
Rush,
an attack run.
Right.
Yakuza 0. That stuff makes sense.
I'm looking forward to playing Yakuza Kiwami. I haven't got around to it yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
The walker is defenseless.
Although some of these recommendations are a little weird, like why it chose that game to give me recommendations. Like this one is because you bought Dragon Fin Soup.
Oh god. That was a
game's
PlayStation
terrible.
Plus game. Does everybody on PS
Yeah.
Plus have that recommendation? Also, that was terrible.
Oh, that game is so bad.
I don't even remember much about it. I just remember playing it and
bad.
hating it.
It was really bad.
Did you play that one that was like a Flash game? Like a Flash brawler?
Oh, what game was that?
I feel like it was this year. It was like a Flash brawler, but it had like JRPG quests.
Oh, that's actually kind of deep.
Oh my god, I just managed to throw a grenade onto the back of the AT-AT.
So EA Sports is just straight up selling like their 2019 bundle, where you get Madden 19, FIFA 19, NHL 19, NBA Live 19. For only $100. That's technically like two free games.
It's not too bad.
Ooh, there's a new chess game, Silver Star Chess.
Alright, should we wrap up since we're mostly just... we're just looking to you browse the store?
You will sit there and listen to me browse the store and you'll like it. But yes, before we go, well, never mind. There's really no one here. I could tell this too. But,
Okay.
I was just gonna mention about the Mixer channel.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Alright. I need to get into a Mixer a little bit more. Apparently, like, the things people have been giving me are, like, mini donations, and I've been barely acknowledging them. Apparently.
Like those sparks?
Right, apparently if you get, like, 20,000 of them, it becomes... Oh no, if you get a large amount of them, it becomes $20. I think.
I don't know, I think, okay.
Someone was saying
So-
that. Maybe they lied.
So, okay, what I've seen a lot is certain streamers, and not all of them, but a lot of them have like these, like, crystals, where if you click on it, it'll show the levels. So it's like, 1 million sparks, 2.5, 5 million. And then at each level, they'll say, if it reaches this point, streamer gets a $15 bonus.
Oh, interesting.
A $50 bonus, an $82 bonus, a $120 bonus. But they do say bonus. So I don't know if that's the only monetization, or if there's something else involving those sparks.
Sure. But I should be acknowledging the sparks more. The problem is they don't show
Yes,
up
you
properly in my chat.
Do you have the Mixer app on your phone?
No.
There's actually a Mixer creator app that basically handles your dashboard stuff. Like it'll display your chat and your moderation tools and all that stuff on your phone.
Okay.
But yes, we should wrap up. Thank you everyone who decided to hang out with us during this chill out stream.
Yeah.
We should be getting back to more regularly scheduled programming and even more stuff very, very soon.
Okay.
So, yeah. Till next time.
Bye.
Have a good one.